details.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Your mouth can do a lot of amazing things. And your mouth can save a life.
Hi, I'm Tom Wong. I'm just one of close to 1,000 Canadians in search of a stem cell match. We need your help.
A simple swab is all you need to register on the National Stem Cell Database. You could be the one to save a life. Find the hero in you.
This is Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to this week's episode of Mom and Pop Eateries. I'm your host, Rob Leonard, and as I've said, what a journey it's been meeting some of the fantastic mom and pop operations in Grey and Bruce counties. And last week we were in the town of Meaford. This week we're going to go a half hour west, and we're going to go to my hometown of Owen Sound. And down on 2nd Avenue East, in between 9th and 10th Street, there's this great bakery called Birgit's Bakery and Cafe, and the owner, Birgit Wright, is with me today. Birgit, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm really pleased and happy and privileged to be here.
All right, that's great. Fantastic. All right, so let's start with the beginnings. You and I had a great conversation last night on the phone, and it seems to me that there's quite a few businesses in Owen Sound. These small businesses, they get their start, and they basically it's a proving ground really at the Owen Sound Farmers Market, and that was the case for you and your business.
Yeah, at the Farmers Market is where we started in 1993. I started selling bread and pastries there, and every Saturday morning, and it was really nice and very rewarding. And then in 2001, I started the breakfast cafe there, and it just was great. It just kept everybody was happy with the sandwiches. We've got quite a roster of breakfast sandwiches, eggs and bacon, and they all have cheese, onion, and tomato, and so there's a huge variety. And then when I got married, for my second marriage, my husband Gary, he had his own particular sandwich, and now it's become quite popular. It's Gary's favorite. It's egg and pea meal bacon with cheese, onion, and tomato. That's his favorite.
That sounds amazing. That's great. And as I said, the farmers market has been the catalyst for a lot of businesses just starting out. And you picked a really familiar spot for your bakery, and looking at the pictures of it online and everything, the color schemes and everything go together so well. But you picked really an iconic space. It was the home of Ken Henrik Jewelers for so many years in Owen Sound, and just telling people that you're located in the old Ken Henrik spot, everybody's going to know where that is.
Oh, yes. People know where the Ken Hendricks building is. It is very iconic, and it's interesting. I know many people who will tell me that they're my age, but when they were kids, they would come and with their friends who were sons of the Hendricks, they would come in here and Mr. Hendricks would show them how to fix watches and stuff like that. So it's a very local, popular place that's, people are sorry to see go, but they've been very supportive about our new venture here. So that's been good. It also has a very interesting history because before it was Ken Hendricks Jewelers, it was the CP rail station, and they bought it from the original purpose for this building, which was as a bank. And I think that was in 1859 that the building was built for the purpose of being a bank. And the bank was called the Molson Bank. And so a lot of people find that interesting because it is the same family that started the beer company. So there was a Molson Bank as well as a Molson Brewery. And in about 1912, I believe, the Molson Bank merged with the Bank of Montreal, and that's when the CP Rail came in. And then after that, in the late 50s, is when the Hendricks started here as the jeweler. So it's got quite a history.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Those I didn't I had no idea that it was a rail office and then a bank prior to that. So that's incredible history right there. So let's talk about the products that people can find at Birgit's bakery. Now, you were telling me yesterday that you're very health conscious baking in the products that you use and also the procedures that you use.
Yeah, I have always been dedicated to using organic flour and organic sugar. They're the backbones of bakery items, and I don't need to make everything organic because that's not feasible and it's not economical. But these are two things that I can guarantee are always the best quality that you can buy. Organic flour, we'll use spelt, rye, wheat, and other kinds of grains that are all organic. And then organic cane sugar. And organic cane sugar, they're both a little bit more expensive, but quite frankly, in the time that I have been baking with them, they have actually come to be quite reasonably priced. So if people want to change one thing in their home baking life, they could just switch to organic flour, and they've already increased the food value of what they make for their families. And I do that regularly here. That's what we do. We use them in our pastries, in our bread, and anything where sugar is, and we make sweets. And one of the things we do with our sweets is I like to say that they are Euro sweet. They're not super sweet. They're sweet enough. We make everything so that it's satisfying without being cloying, and we use fruits and nuts and chocolate and butter and just try to make satisfying pastries that really, everybody's happy when they've finished it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's right up my alley because I haven't got a super sweet tooth, and exactly what you're describing makes me want to come in there because that would be something that would satisfy me because I like sugar, of course. I double in my coffee, but like the sweetness. Let's compare it to let's say like a cheesecake sweetness, for example. That's the level that I seem to be happy with. So. Again, that would be something that's right up my alley. Now, you do try to satisfy a lot of different diets. I believe I saw something about a keto diet on your page.
Or was that the keto diet? Did you
was
say
it keto? I may have it confused with it, but different diet.
We try to please as many people as possible who have issues. We do make a couple of gluten-free things for people with those problems, and I actually use a gluten-free bread that a new young baker has been making up in Rockford. Her name is Boone Bakery, and she makes Megan, and she makes organic gluten-free bread, and she's working out some pastries as well. But we do a little bit here, and then we also try to, if somebody's dairy-free, we try to keep that in mind. And keto is a very popular style of eating where they actually have no carbs. We're kind of carb-based, but they want no carbs, but we're able to make salads and convert our sandwiches. One of the things we do, because we have an extensive sandwich menu, we will make all of our sandwiches on our homemade bread, and our homemade bread is made with spelt wheat and whole wheat, and it has a sourdough base to it, so it's really digestible. One of the things about sourdough is it makes it really digestible, and so all of our sandwiches are made on this bread. And if somebody can't eat bread, then we convert our sandwich into a salad, and then they can have everything that was on the sandwich, but as a salad, and that's been very popular. So we try, and when somebody comes up with something new, it seems that people are aware of what they're eating, and they're very conscientious. So we try to meet them as closely as possible.
That's a great idea. It's basically a breadless sandwich. And, I was just running through my head when you mentioned it. I was running through my head, okay, a BLT, that can be done, on top of a salad, roast beef sandwich, whatever, anything, tuna, salmon. It all works, just basically using lettuce as the bread, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
So that kind of thing. And our pastries, we make all our own pastry dough. We use only butter, and it's just really satisfying. And I also have a great team here. I'd like to talk about that. Everybody is trained to how to do things our way here, because we don't necessarily do everything the traditional way, because we want it to be in a new mode of baking, so that there's less sugar and higher quality ingredients, and more in a European fashion and style of baking. So it's very satisfying that everyone is learning how to do these things. So it's nice teaching young people new skills. Maybe that's what I want to say. I love teaching young people new skills, and that's something we do here.
That's so important. That is so nice to hear, so refreshing. There's I've been in the industry, I guess, since I came out of high school. So it's been 40 plus years. And there were chefs and any people in the industry that just weren't willing to share their skills or share their knowledge with the younger ones. The attitude was, you'll do what I did. You'll come in after, on your own time, and you'll stand and watch, kind of thing. So it's really refreshing and great to hear that you're more than willing to share your knowledge with your staff. And but as I said, I've been doing the page now, I guess, for about 8 or 9 months, and of course I share the daily posts from all the places. But I've noticed one thing in particular about your place, and when you put up pictures of your staff and yourself, everybody looks like they're having a great time. Everybody just seems to be having fun. They have a smile on their face, and it's not a camera smile. It looks like a legitimate smile. People love being there.
These people are genuinely lovely, and it's a pleasure to come to work. I come to work, and I know that every day I'll get a laugh and a smile, and everybody is enjoying themselves, so I couldn't complain about any of them, really. They're lovely. And it also makes for a well-oiled machine. Everybody is moving together and working as a team, and it all gets done. And also there's a lot of support. If somebody does make a mistake, because we're all human, we are all able to help and troubleshoot whatever it is and move on to the next thing, because we're not about blame here. We're about if something's not right, let's fix it and move on.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, let's take a step back now. Let's go back to when you decided to open up the current location that you're in now. Let's talk about the date and the timing around that. And I think COVID had a bit of a play in all your plans.
Oh yes, well we moved here for March 1st. We had been at the back of the Artist Co-op, which is literally next door. And we were at the back of the co-op with a small cafe, and bakery, but it became too small and we really needed more exposure. And so when the Henrik's building became available, we decided that we would come in here. And so we left the co-op in the middle of February and then came here, got all set up so that we could open on the 1st of March. And we opened, and it was really satisfying and reassuring that what we had thought it would be is what it was. It was very busy and well received for 2 whole weeks. And then by the 15th of March, it was closed down, COVID time, no more. And we had to readjust what we were doing because it was no longer going to be a 40-seat cafe. And so we were thinking when we moved in, we were kind of cafe bakery. Now we were going to be bakery, maybe cafe someday. And we moved from it to being bakery takeout. So after we were closed for a week or so, before everybody left, they filled the freezers full of stock. We had pot pies and desserts and everything. And so I started being open just for the first few weeks by myself, because really I just didn't want to close the door so people didn't have somewhere to go. And everyone was really careful, and people were grateful that there was somewhere that they could go, and they were, but there were still not that many. But then slowly people started coming back, and then slowly brought more staff in, one staff after the other. They were all kind of going, so when can I get back to work? I'm really bored. I really want to come back to work. And sometimes they didn't come because they just were too bored at home. And we were all very careful because there's nothing more than conscientious hand washers and people in the kitchen. So, and then when we established the sandwiches as takeout, then we didn't have to look back. The sandwiches took off, and we've slowly brought out more and more things that we've had on the menu before. And now, once we got the patio in July, that was the best thing ever. So it was a growing thing. We moved from being a cafe bakery to a bakery takeout, and then now we had the patio, and now we have indoor seating now that the patio is gone. So, but it's limited. It's not what it was. We had 40 seats. Now we have 20 seats. That's how it is. And that's how it is for everyone. So it's not like I'm sorry for myself or anything, because everybody's in this boat. Everybody in town has to be more careful. And so we just do what we can. So we still do lots of takeout. The other thing that we do a lot that is very helpful for people, we make savory pot pies. So we do meat and vegetarian ones. So, and their pot pies are baked in a small oven-proof paper pan so that they can actually be microwaved. And they only have a pastry on top, so they're not carb heavy. So they have a nice filling of meat and veg, or veg and sauces and flavors that are just lovely. And that is with our butter crust on top. And that really is very popular, along with the sandwiches. Some people come in for lunch for a sandwich and get a pot pie to take home for supper.
And it's really conducive to the downtown atmosphere, really, because you got a lot of offices there. Maybe not as many people are in their offices, but you have banks and whatever. So it's kind of a cash and carry thing too, right? It really accommodates that lifestyle, and people are in a hurry. They can grab a sandwich, they can grab the pastry, or as you said, the pot pie, that kind of thing, and take it with them. So now, let's say, for example, people in the offices downtown, can they, obviously, I would imagine they can call ahead and place an order with you and come and pick it up?
Yeah, we actually got an order line. We got a landline for taking orders, so that if people are in the office and they want to walk, they can call us. We make their sandwiches and they can come pick them up. And they don't have to wait a long time. So because we don't have a lot of waiting space inside, we're limited to how many people can actually come in. So I really encourage people to come in. So I'm just going to give the number right now. It's like 519-370-CAFE, which is 2233. If you want to call ahead.
Yeah. So 519-370-CAFE?
Yes.
All right, that's perfect.
Yeah. So that's 2233 is what it works out to.
2233, perfect. You can't forget that. And, you know, it makes your life so much easier, too. You can organize your kitchen. Let's say somebody calls an hour ahead of time. You've got an hour to put that order together, and you can time it right for when they get there so they can be on their way. So, so again, let's talk about the patios. We discussed this yesterday when we were talking, and my guest last week in Meaford, they said that yes, the patios were allowed for restaurants, but it ended up really being beneficial to all the businesses in the downtown core, because people would drive by, they'd see the patios and go, oh man, let's stop and take a walk around. So is that the same thing that happened in Owen Sound?
Oh, yes. It is so rewarding to see how many, not just tourists, locals, really appreciated our patio, the Palace patio, all of the restaurant patios, because especially the ones on the street, because you could see them and it looked like Europe. It had this festive feeling, and it would draw people downtown because they felt like they were going somewhere interesting and exciting. It had a lovely, fine feeling, and I can't tell you how many people told me that we should close 2nd Avenue and do this all up and down the street. So,
and that's been banded around for a number of years in Owen Sound, I know, but it just really makes me it gives me a good positive feeling when I hear stories like this, because the pandemic, yes, God bless everyone, anybody that's been affected by it, but there really have been some positive stories come out of this.
Oh yes, it is very positive, and I think it's carrying on. People are still coming in, and even though there's no patio, they keep asking, you are going to have it again? And I said, yep, there's no reason not to. Come May, we can start again, and the city contract for doing that is from May to October, the end of October, and so next year it'll be even a longer season.
That'd be fantastic. It's going to be really difficult for. I think we're still going to be in restrictions, until the vaccine is distributed to everybody. So, and by all accounts, it's going to be carrying into, probably into the fall next year. So, I think I can't see the city of Owen Sound not allowing that for the businesses for next year. So, all right. Let's again talk about your products that are available. You have sandwiches, you have your own homemade bread, you have...
Yes, we do. We make homemade bread, and if people want to, we're trying to get people to order so that we make to order, so we don't have too much excess, because we always will freeze the bread that we have so that we can use it for sandwiches, so we never have waste. So when people order ahead, we save them a fresh loaf, and if they want it sliced, we can slice them, and so that is something. And we'll also get people who want to order cakes. We do more subdued kind of celebration cakes. They're European buttercreams. They're very delicious. But you don't leave them out in the room. You have to keep them in the fridge, but they're the same cakes that we sell pieces of. So one of the things we do is we make cakes all the time, and we cut them into portion sizes, and people will come in and get a box full of different pastries. They can have a brownie, a lemon poppy seed cake, a carrot cake, butter tarts. We have pecan and cranberry butter tarts. People really love the cranberry butter tarts because they don't see
And
that.
all of those things go great with a good cup of coffee. And we've got about 5 minutes left in the show here. And does Kat Healy want to make an appearance?
Yes, can you get Kat, please? Yeah, Kat Healy has been Civil Cat Coffee Roastery for the last 5 years, and this year she is moving downtown, and we're going to host her in-house roastery. So here, Kat, come along.
All right. Let's meet Kat Healy. And there she is. How are you? And welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Thanks for
Okay, I got to tell you, I absolutely love your logo. I think it's amazing. And all the, as I said, I stole it off your Facebook page and I gave it to producer Mark Perry, so it'll show up on the screen. So, Kat, let's talk about Civil Cat Coffee. We've got about 3 minutes left, so let's tell us all about that.
So I bought Civil Cat Coffee about 5 years ago from Karen. It had been in business for about 10 years at that point. I do organic, fair trade, Cafe Feminino based coffees, and then I blend for flavor profiles.
Okay, so are you a barista? Is that the right word? Or a coffee roaster?
I want to say I'm more of the roaster than a barista, as Robin and Birgit up front do much finer foam work than I do.
Okay, so, and you are in, you're part of Birgit's Cafe downtown?
I am. So I provide and I roast the coffee for her and I have blended some profiles to meet exactly what she wants. So we do a Vienna French roast as our dark, and then we do a wonderful full roasted medium.
And you will be.
Okay, so, and are there plans for other blends and other things coming up?
So I have about 7 different blends on hand. I have 2 really nice smooth mediums, and then I have a good selection of dark roast as well as a beautiful French. And then I'm willing to roast for clients as needed and single origins.
Okay, fantastic. It really sounds like a great work in progress there at Birgit's, and so many wonderful things going on downtown Owen Sound. So you're in full swing there now, or are you?
I'm still waiting on installation at the moment. So what everyone is enjoying here is the last of my beans, and hopefully for 2021, I'll be in full swing.
Okay, so when it comes to your beans, do you select your own beans? Do you go out and?
I do. So on hand, I have 7 origins, starting from a Mexico, a Peru, a Guatemala, Nicaragua. I have an Ethiopia, Sumatra, and then a Swiss water Peruvian decaf.
And the fair trade, I'm familiar with the fair trade coffee beans, a fair trade anything, and it really is a super program.
It is. And then on top of that, I do Cafe Feminino, and there are feminist-based plantations that support dollar-to-dollar work for equal fair trade labor, so equal work for equal pay. And then from there, you are able to apply for like a grant to help you open up another plantation to expand their work. So they started strictly in Peru. They now have an Ethiopia, a Sumatra, and a Guatemala plantation as well.
That's a fantastic program, and as I said, very familiar with it, and it really does. It is exactly what the name says, is fair trade. So, all right, that's going to do it for this week's show. Birgit, can you squeeze back in there so we can say goodbye properly?
We will.
That's welcome to say as well. I want to thank you so much for doing this. I wish you all the best, and the next time I get into Onsan, I'm absolutely going to make a visit down to you and try some of those wonderful delights that you've got going on at Birgit's.
Perfect.
Well, we'll be happy to see you. Thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it.
All right. Absolutely our pleasure. I'm a super heavy coffee drinker. So, all right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Mom and Pop Eateries of Grey Bruce. I'm your host, Rob Leonard, for producer